Hi, my name is Kaylin Young. I am a 200-hour registered yoga teacher, and I currently teach here at Sundara Sanctuary, also at the Prescott YMCA, at Gripstone Climbing Gym, and at Bend Hot Yoga in Prescott. Today we're going to focus on the hips a little bit. So there are many yoga postures that can help you open your hips and find some release there, but we're just going to cover a few today. Hopefully they are accessible to you all. Didn't want to bust out the ones that are hard to sit in for too many breaths. So we're going to start simple, use a bunch of props, and hopefully find something that works for you. So we're going to start seated. I'm going to start with my legs crossed. If this is uncomfortable for you, you have a couple of options. For example, if your knees are way up here, your hips are pretty tight, you might like to extend your feet forward all the way here. You might be okay with crossed legs and then put a block underneath your hips. And what that does is it just changes the angle on your hip and allows you a little more space for your legs to open here. So we're going to start seated, whether you're on a block or with your legs out long. Take a big breath in, reach your arms above your head. And as you exhale, fold forward. So everyone's going to have a little bit different range of motion here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this block. But the goal here, as you walk your hands forward, is to keep your chest lifted. So we're looking for a long spine rather than rounded here and trying to get your arms on the floor. So walk your fingers forward, try to keep your spine long. At the same time, you have both hips grounded. And then relax across your inner thighs here and draw your knees open. We'll be here for a couple of breaths. And then you'll go ahead and walk your hands back in. So feel free to take as much time in any of these postures as you need. We'll go ahead and switch sides. Even if you had your legs out straight, you can take it through a second round. Take a big breath in and fold forward. So we're not only lengthening the spine, we're also opening up the hips. Go ahead and walk your hands back in. From here, I'll go ahead and turn sideways here. You're going to come down onto your back for Supta Baddha Konasana. It's also called reclined bound ankle pose. So the soles of your feet together, knees out wide, and you'll lay all the way down on the mat. So with your knees out to the side, you're going to let gravity draw your knees down. So it might take a few breaths here for you to really feel like you don't have to grip in your hips anymore, letting your knees open. You might play with where your feet are in relationship to your hips. The closer in your feet are to your hips, the more you feel that inner thigh stretch. The closer your feet are to the bottom of your mat, the more you feel it across the tops of your legs. A little more into your hip flexors here, but find a place where you can sit for a few breaths. You also have the option here to take 2 blocks or something that will support your knees and place it on either side. It just kind of gives you a little support. And there are 3 heights to your block, so whatever works for you. And spend a few breaths here. On your exhale, always releasing, softening in the hips. And then after a few breaths, so bring your hands to the outside of your thighs, close your knees like a book. You're just giving your hips a little bit of help. From here, you'll grab a strap. We're going for figure 4. So down on your back, soles of your feet planted on the mat. From here, you'll take your right heel, cross it over your right ankle, over your left knee. Flex your right foot. You'll take your right hand, press it into your right thigh. So you don't want to press on your knee, but on your thigh here, pushing it away. Deep breath. So for some of you, that might feel very tense. You might stay here. To add on, to take it a little deeper, you can take your strap around your left hamstring here and lift your knee up to stack over your hip. Flex your left foot, keep your right foot flexed as well. So if you're having trouble reaching behind your thigh here, this is where the strap comes in. So it allows you to pull in You want to take your right hand again, press that thigh open. What we want is for your whole spine to be supported on the mat. So if in order to reach behind your hamstring, you have to tuck or pull your tailbone up off the mat, we want to use the strap for a little while until we build that flexibility. And then a slight rock to the left side, so whatever foot is out here to the front, slight rock to that side. You might feel a little deeper stretch through your right glute and your right hip. Few breaths here. And then we'll switch sides. Lower your left foot, plant your right, take your left heel across. Same thing here, left palm, left thigh, press it open. And then if and when you're ready, clasp behind your hamstring, flex both feet, keep your whole spine on the ground so you're not trying to curl your chest or your spine up. Try to lay it down. Make all that stretch come from your legs instead of your back. Spend as much time as you need there. Lower your right foot and your left. From here, we'll go to lizard. So you'll take your right foot forward and leave your left knee back and resting on the mat. You'll want 2 blocks here at the top. So depending on your flexibility here, but you do want to set your knee over your ankle. You can walk that foot over to the right side of your mat. That just opens up the hip a little bit. And then both hands will come to the inside of your right foot. So depending on your flexibility, you may be able to plant both hands right on the floor, but you want to be able to do that with a long spine, so you're drawing your heart forward instead of being crumpled here. So maybe you're here. If that's too far away, you grab a block or 2, prop yourself up, so let your hips sink, opening up through the left hip flexor here and drawing your heart forward. You have all the options on the height of your blocks, so find what works for you. You'll spend a few breaths here sinking into your lizard pose. And then of course we want to be even, so we'll take it to the other side. Left leg comes forward, knee right over your ankle, but then you can walk that foot to the side. Same thing here, hands on the inside, soften in your hips, take a big breath, draw your heart forward. On your exhale, soften in your hips. Maybe one day you can get an elbow or 2 on the ground. So, but not at the expense of your long spine. You're trying to keep your spine long. And then from here, walk your hands back in. Take your left foot back to meet your right. We'll just end in child's pose with a softening of across the thighs and of the hips. So hips go back to your heels, arms go long. Take a few breaths in child's pose. And then hopefully your hips feel a little bit better after that sequence.